Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Michelle Spieler. I'm doing a different format today because I want to do green screen so that I can show you the progression of my Botox over the last few years, and also in conjunction with really juicy skincare, why I have such bounce back and you don't see as many lines on my face as you once did, even when I was younger. I have less lines now. So real quick, I'm a 30-year pro makeup artist. That does not make me an expert on Botox. What does make me an expert on Botox is I did it in the early days in 2004, 2005, 2006, back when Desperate Housewives was, doing a whole TV show of frozen faces. That's all we did in Beverly Hills. Everyone had frozen foreheads, frozen eyes. And I saw a picture of myself one day. I was about 39 and I thought, that doesn't look like me. And I had really gotten away from what I look like. I also had embarked on a healthy or clean living journey. And I thought, what do we know about the long-term effects of botulism in the face? What if I did get pregnant? I know I'm 39. I was infertile most of my 30s, but what if I did get pregnant? Would I feel good about having Botox in my face? Well, I'm telling you, that was just some kind of inner intuition from God, because 6 months later I was pregnant at 39 years old, and I just felt so relieved that I did not have any Botox in my face. Now today there are 4 types of neurotoxins that you can inject in your face. One is Juvo. I've never used it. I started with Botox back in the early 2000s, and it really freezes the muscle. It takes about a week to kick in. And then I switched to Dysport. Now, what happened was I raised my baby. I was living on a tight budget. I didn't have money for Botox, but also, like I said, I was doing clean beauty and I didn't want to inject anything in my face. But by the time I was in my early 50s, and now I'm making kind of, a pretty good living at content creating, and I thought, I really am tired of seeing these lines, my 11s, except most of you have 1 or 2 lines. I had 3. So I call them 111s on me, and I was really tired of those. I had some deep lines on my forehead because I'm super expressive, but it was really the 3 lines that were getting deeper. It made me look tired. It made me look angry. And so I decided to go to someone in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I used to live, who was a top 100 injector in the country. She was very conservative with me. I told her my concerns, and we just started right here. So whether you are in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and beyond, I want you to start slow. And I'm going to show you some photos right now of how doing Botox or Dysport over time will result in less lines and wrinkles in your forehead. Now you can kind of see a little bit of a line here, but that doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me. But when you have deep lines that have been developing for a long time and the lines are getting quite deep, going and getting Botox or Dysport one time is going to lessen your lines, but it took decades to develop those lines. And so you are going to have to go through several rounds, maybe even a 1.5 to 2 years before you really start to see those deeply etched lines completely go away, really. And with the help of good skincare, you can give yourself bouncy skin or bounce back. That means, yes, do you see all my crow's feet? But when I'm done smiling, they're gone. The lines are not left there because I have good bounce back in my skin, even at 57 years old. Okay, we're gonna start green screen now because I wanna show you the journey. Okay, this is me, and I am probably around 50 years old, possibly 51, 52. You can see my deep lines between my forehead. One was deeper, and then I had 2 on either side of it that were a little bit more shallow. I'm wearing a hat, but I had very deep lines in my forehead. And of course, you can see my crow's feet. I thought I had good skin back then. I have always been super diligent with skincare, with SPF, but I realize now, looking at this picture, I look dry and I look dull. And that is because I was not exfoliating. I was washing my face every night. I was wearing SPF every day. I was wearing serums and moisturizers, but I was not exfoliating my skin. So I did not have that beautiful light bounce. But this was the picture where I'm like, I think I have to go back because these lines are getting deeper and deeper, and once they get too deep, you cannot get rid of them. So I started going to Courtney and I stalked her for about 6 months. It's so important to find the right injector where the before and afters look very soft and natural. And we just started right here, nowhere else. As I started to gain trust in her, then because I have one eyebrow that's lower than the other, we started Botoxing at the very top of my forehead. What we never did was we never did my frontalis, this huge muscle group here that lifts your eyebrows. When you Botox it, it forces it to be frozen and it kind of lowers eyebrows on most people. Not everyone, but most people. She said we can never do your forehead because she could see the strong lines in my forehead. She knew I had a lot of movement, but she did recommend the brow, way up here at the hairline. And so because I trust her so much because she helped me with this area, over time I started to trust her up here. And it really did lift my brow. Anytime this brow starts to kind of droop again, I know it's time to go back and get more. So I want you to concentrate starting right here because I think this is where a lot of us hold most expression in our face. But ask your injector if you are a candidate for a slight brow lift, not a brow lift here where it gives you the fox eye, because that can make your eyebrows look really weird, especially if you're mature. It works better in younger women to get that fox eye where they inject you here and the tail of your brow goes up. But for those of us who are older and starting to have gravity affect our face, that can look really contrived and fake and awful. But when you go up in the hairline here, it does lift both your brows and it gives you a slight brow lift, and I will take it at this age, okay? So at this point, we're only doing here and right here. Then I did something so stupid. I went in a couple of years ago for a TCA peel to a dermatologist in my town, and I had been driving 45 minutes to an hour to see Courtney in Charlotte, but I lived about an hour north of Charlotte. And so I thought, oh, how nice to find someone in my town to do it. She did my TCA peel. She did a beautiful job. My skin was amazing. But she said, trust me, I had never seen before and afters, but because she was a dermatologist, I trusted her. She's like, I do natural work. Well, she botched my face. She botched me really bad. She did my forehead. You can see how my brows are lower and I look angry. I have less eye space than look at all this eye space I have. She took all my eye space away. My brows came down and you're frozen like that. You're frozen like that for about 3 to 4 months. And I was so angry and I said, never again will I trust someone who says, trust me, I do natural work, because I did not look natural. I looked horrible and I hated the way I looked for 4 months. And if you're new here, a couple years ago, right on the heels of this, I developed this beautiful M93 lip color with Mod Beauty. They flew me out to Palm Springs and we did this professional photo shoot. Look at me. I hate how I look, and now it is forever captured on the website of my family and my loved ones, Mod Beauty. My eyebrows look angry. I lost all my space in my eyes, and I forgot to tell you, she gave me a lip flip. So she injected me up here, which kind of raises your upper lip a little bit, but it flattened me. So when I smiled, my smile was off. I couldn't drink from a straw. I couldn't kiss my husband. I couldn't spit out toothpaste. Do not do a lip flip. They are ugly and horrible on just about everyone. So never again. I went back to Courtney, and also Bella was her sidekick, and I would do either Courtney or Bella, but you could see that my brows look soft and rested. And now I'm starting to notice that my deep lines are actually starting to be erased, because now I've been doing it for about 1.5 to 2 years. Also the lines in my forehead, you can see I have nice space on my eyelids. And also something they started to do, they said when I speak, I scrunch my nose up a lot. And so they started to Botox me right here for bunny nose, okay? But you don't want to do here, and I'll get to that in a minute, because when this area gets frozen between the eyes, it gets wide and hard and really ugly in my opinion. Bunny nose is okay. It doesn't last very long, so I'm now at the point where I'm just trying mindfully not to scrunch up my nose, so I'm not even doing bunny nose anymore, but it does work. Oh, and one more thing, that's how they get you. She said, do you know you scrunch your face and you get these little lines? She's like, over time, those are going to get etched deeper and deeper and deeper, which spoke to me because I knew how deep these had gotten. And I didn't want deep, deep lines in my nose. And that's how they get you. They get you by saying, oh, we don't want those lines to get deeper as you age. We need to take care of that. So I want to show you a visual of all the different areas that injectors can do Botox. And you have to remember, this is a huge moneymaker business. They want to shoot up your whole face. One, it's very expensive. To do this area right here, that's about $175, and you only have to go 3 to 4 times a year. But you can imagine if you add the forehead, if you add the eyes, the bunny nose, the chin, the masseter, the neck, if you start adding all these areas, you're going to start spending close to $2,000 to get Botox 3 to 4 times a year. And I'm here to tell you it's not necessary, and it makes your face look weird, okay? Some people I know can pull off Botox around the eye. I've tried it several times now, and it just completely screws up my smile. It screws up my eyes. And wherever you freeze the muscles around it are going to be affected, okay? So when they freeze my eye muscles and I smile, what happens is these muscles are frozen, but my apple cheek goes up because I smile, and it creates this weird trench, and it looks bizarre. So always be mindful, wherever we're freezing the face, muscles around it are going to be infected. That's why I love this area here. If we just start by injecting here, it can take so much age off our face and anger and expression without screwing up the rest of our face. But you can see all these different points injectors want to inject you, and they'll tell you why you need it, and you fall prey to it. You become vulnerable to it. You don't want to age. You don't want to have all these deep lines on your face in your 60s and 70s, so you better start now, and that's how they get you. And I don't think it is their attempt at like putting one over on you or evil or greedy. I literally think they think they're helping you, but they're not. It ruins faces. So my philosophy has always been, hey, I'll try anything once. That's why I did a lip flip, never again. That's why I've done around the eyes a couple times, and then I look at photos and go, why does my smile, or why do my eyes look weird, or why am I getting this big trench right here that I've never had before? It's because it screws up your face. You have to be super careful where you put it. The last time too, well, 2 times ago in June when I had it done, she said, oh, your mouth turns down. If we Botox you right here, it'll lift your corners up. Well, of course we want lift, right? But what it did is it made this frozen, so when I smiled, my lower lip didn't really smile, and it looked bizarre, and I hated it, and I had trouble forming words. So be mindful of that, especially if any of you do any type of work on Zoom or online education like what I do, or you're an influencer or you want to be an influencer. Be super mindful that anything they inject on your face is going to affect everything. It affects your eyes, it affects your mouth, it affects your speech, it affects if you can drink or spit out or kiss your husband. It's ridiculous how many areas they make you feel vulnerable about. Okay, I grabbed this from Google, but I really liked this diagram. Okay, so when I first went to Courtney and she just started treating me here only, she was so careful to only get me right here and then right next to the eyebrows. She didn't go up and over the eyebrows like you're seeing in this diagram. So when I moved to Nashville and I had a new injector and I told her I just want it here and then up here, I felt her going over my eyebrow and I thought, what is she doing? My girl back home never did it all the way over the eyebrow. And it does make your eye shape different, and I didn't like it. So this last time that I went back to my injector here in Nashville, I said, hey, I just want it here, and I want it right here next to the brows. Do not go anywhere over my eyebrows. She's like, are you sure? I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, come back in 2 weeks because I think we're gonna have to fix it. Well, guess what? It's been 3 weeks and I love it. I love it. I love that we just did right here and right here. That's it. Boom, boom, little triangle. That's it. I think my brows look super soft and relaxed. I still have all this space on my eyelid like I'm supposed to, in my brow bone. And then we went right up here to lift. I told her I hated anything around the mouth. I'll never be doing the mouth again. I don't like the eyes because it changes the way I smile. It changes my eye shape, and I like my eye shape, and I like my happy, smiley eyes. So please be mindful of that. If you want to try something once, do it just to be your own guinea pig. But I am here to tell you, please start slow, especially if you're young. These are the areas that get the deepest on the face. I also had deep, deep lines in my forehead, but because we are relaxing the muscles up here and lifting a little bit and relaxing this right here and freezing that muscle right there, everything else has just kind of mellowed out. I've worn frownies to bed at night. I have a Pacifica Beauty. I get at Ulta. It's a big silicone patch. Some nights I wear that. And I'm really learning to not use my forehead when I speak like I have for, 50 some odd years. So that's what I want to tell you. Start slow. Start right here. Please don't worry if you're young yet about crow's feet. And if you try anything, look at a lot of before and afters, and look, please, at how you look when you smile, and really, juxtapose that to older photos of yourself so you can see how the Botox or Dysport is changing your face. I really hope that helps you to make an educated decision. Again, I'm not in the medical field. I'm not an injector. I'm just a makeup artist. But I can tell you, because I've been doing Dysport, and the difference between Dysport and Botox is like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. There's not a big difference, but Dysport does kick in a little quicker, so you're going to start noticing it by day 2, 3, 4, whereas Botox can take up to a week. And Dysport, I think, lasts longer than Botox, and also it doesn't freeze the muscles as hard. It's a softer look, so I'm a huge, huge fan of Dysport. But the one thing I've noticed is that even if I'm moving, you can see my forehead lines, but then they go away. They go away because I have just really mastered my skincare, and I've really mastered exfoliation without hurting my moisture barrier, keeping me really bouncy and hydrated and juicy. And again, you can see my crow's feet, but when I'm done, the lines go away because that's called bounce back, and that's what you want. You want bouncy skin. And I really recommend starting just here. What's it going to harm you to start just right here and nowhere else? Beware, beware, beware. They will find your vulnerabilities and they will tell you need it. And I think they truly mean it. They're really trying to help. But what's happening is everyone's walking around with weird faces, and we have to change that. We have to go back to being reasonable about how we inject our face, a little at a time, a little at a time. Try anything once, but then be ready to admit when it didn't work or it affected how your eyes looked or how your speech is, just be honest, and then don't do that area ever again. I've never done my neck. I never will. That scares me, but I'd love to hear your stories. Do you love to do your neck? Do you love to do your masseter? Do you love to do this right here? I just found that every time I go outside of the norm here and here, I botch my face, and then I hate how I look for 4 months. And I do this for a living. I film myself 6 days a week. So I have to really like what I'm looking at. Otherwise, this whole industry can be depressing, okay? I hope that helps. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if this video has helped you, and really look for injectors in your area who are either in the top 100 of the country, or they have beautiful, beautiful before and afters, and years worth. Don't just go to someone brand new, years worth. And don't be afraid to boss them around. I finally had to boss my girl around here, and I love her so much. I didn't want to go to someone new and start all over again. I wanted to stick with her because I like her as a person. And I just have to train her on what I want. And my Botox this time was significantly cheaper because we just did here and here. And I'm so much happier. I'm so much happier with how it looks. Okay. I will see you all next week. Sorry I wasn't here Wednesday night. We're having internet problems, and I have this horrible bloodshot eye. I'm going out of town tomorrow, but I will be back next week. I'm so happy you're here. Bye for now.